Today we are going to solve the systems of equations that we wrote yesterday, and we are going to do that by using the calculator. So I am going to give you a foldable, and then online it'll be posted as a Google slide, and I'm going to teach you how to solve these. So the ways that we've learned to solve so far, just a little review, is by graphing and finding their intersection point. Then the next way we learned how to solve was by looking at the table where they are the exact same x and y value. So we really only know about graphing them and looking at the table. So there are two other ways which you may see in Algebra 2, but we're not going to see it here in Algebra 1 right now. And they're called substitution and elimination. We are not doing those, but instead you're going to learn how to use the calculator and what's called a matrix in order to solve the system of equations. So we have, like number 1, we have the system. In order for us to solve it by graphing, we'd have to sub in an x and a y and then solve for y in order to graph it. That would be one way. Or plug in values for x and y or n and d. But what we are going to do is we are going to keep them in what's called standard form, just like this. We have n plus d equals 41. And then we have n again, and then d, and then equals some number. So that's called standard form. When it's in standard form, we can use the matrix. If it's not in standard form, then we have to convert it over to standard form, which we've learned how to do, and then put it in the matrix. So let me pull up our foldable for today. So you may be wondering, what is a matrix? So a matrix is an array of numbers organized by rows and columns. So these are called rows. And so these right here are your columns. So we always write it as, we name it by its rows by columns, RC. So this is a 2-row by 3-column matrix. And we can put a matrix in our calculator. So I'm just going to show you how to put the matrix in. So we go to Alpha Zoom. Did y'all see that? Alpha Zoom. And see how the function for the zoom is matrix. The only thing we've used that alpha for right now has been fraction. Remember, to get to these tools or functions, you would go alpha and then click one of these 3. So when we go to alpha matrix or alpha zoom, we get the matrix. So we want to change this to a 2 by 3. So right now it's a 2 by 2. So we would need to go over to the 3 and push enter. And then go down and select OK. So it gives us a template for a matrix. So we are just going to put this matrix in. 1, and then arrow over, 2, arrow over, 3, arrow over, 4, 5, and 6. So it's just a matrix. It's just a way of formatting rows and columns. And it works with systems of equations. So these rows represent equations. So this would be like 1x plus 2y equals 3. And then the second row would be 4x plus 5y equals 6. So these are the coefficients from our standard form. So steps to solve a matrix steps to solve a system of equations using matrix. Write your equation in standard form. So both equations should be written like this. And you can have different variables, just as long as it's consistent. Like you want the x variable first, the y variable second. Or if you're doing the nickels and dimes one, it'd be N first, then D. Just be consistent with it. And then write the coefficients of the equation in matrix form. So this is what a matrix looks like. It has the brackets. The first row or the first column is going to be your x values from your equation. So ax plus by equals c for equation 1. Then you'll have another one for equation 2, a, b, and c. Whatever your coefficients are. Remember, coefficients are the number in front of the variable. Before you put your matrix in the calculator, you're going to have it do some math for you. So I want y'all to just push clear on that. It says do second and then the x to the -1. So it's right here. See the word matrix and how it's in blue? So in order to access that, you got to hit second matrix. Then arrow over to the math. And it gives you step by step right here. Select B, RREF. What that is, it's called row reduced echelon form. It's something that I learned in college. So you won't actually have to learn what it means. Just know that it reduces your matrix into a certain form. So I'm actually going to go up and find the B, RREF. Did y'all find it? No? Yes? Yes? Okay, push enter, and it puts it into our home screen. Okay. Now we're on to step 4. Press alpha zoom, so that's to make our matrix. So alpha zoom, and we want a 2x3. The reason we do a 2x3 is because we have 2 variables, and standard form has 1, 2, 3 terms. So that's why it's a 2x3. If we were solving for more variables, which you'll do in Algebra 2, you might have a 3-row by 3 column or 4 column. But right now we're sticking to 2x3. Okay, go down to the OK, and now it puts that matrix template in. Okay, and then you would enter the numbers of your matrix, press enter, and the solution will be given as a matrix. We're not actually going to do it just yet. But this is how your solution will look. It'll come out as 1, 0, and then some number, and then 0, 1, and some number. And we would convert this back to our standard form. And when you do that, remember this is our x values, our y values, and then the c value. So what this would tell you is x equals that number in the first row. Because it'd be 1x plus 0y equals c, or equals some number. Then the next one would be 0x plus 1y equals some number. So this one, the second row will give you the y value. And that'll give you the solution to the system, and you would write it as x, y. So now we can do the example. So look at our example. We are going to write this as a matrix. So see how it's already in standard form? So all we need to do is look at our columns and make sure that they are matching up. So like X is in column 1, Y is in column 1, a constant in column 3. Okay, so this is column 1, 2, and 3. Let's write it in the matrix form. So we only need the coefficients. So of equation 1, we have 1, -2, and 2. So that's row 1. Row 2, we write our coefficients. So that'd be 3, 1, and 6. It has to be in standard form in order to do this. So now let's clear this out because we just need to start fresh. Because I want y'all to practice going through all the steps. Okay, so step 1, write your equation in standard form. Already done for us. Step 2, write it in matrix form. Already did it. Step 3, press second x to the -1, which is our matrix. So second matrix. Everybody should be following along with me. It's the only way you're going to learn how to follow these steps is if you practice it. Okay, so go over to math, and we want to go to RREF. That's option B. Oh, I went too far. And you can go up or down until you get to option B. Push enter. And now we have the RREF shown. Step 4, press alpha zoom. And we want to do a 2 by 3. Okay. Now we have the template for our matrix. Now we're going to put the matrix in. So 1, arrow over, -2, 2, 3, 1, 6. Press enter. And that's what comes out. So our solution, let's write our solution. 1, 0, 2, 0, 1, 0. See how that's the same thing in our screenshot that's on our foldable. Okay, so now we have to write what this actually means. So remember up here I said row 1 will give you your x value because it's saying this is x, this is y, and this is some constant. X, y, and a constant. So that means 1x plus 0y equals 2. So that really means x equals 2. And then 0, 1, 0, that really means y equals 0. So our solution is 2, 0. That means if I were to plug in x and y in each of these equations, it would be true statements. So I'm going to show you that. I'm going to clear this. I'm going to plug in the x value. That'd be 2 minus 2 times 0. Remember how to get the equals? Because we're testing it out. It's under second math. We're testing it out to see if it's true. Equals 2. 1 means it is true. So we're good there. Okay, the next one. 3 times 2, because x is 2, plus 0, our y value, equals 6. True also. So we did it right. So I'm going to put a box around my answer. X is 2, y is 0, 2, 0 is my solution. Okay, what do y'all think about that? Easy, hard, thumbs up if it's easy, thumbs down if it's hard, sideways if it's eh.
Yes.
Yes, okay. All right, so it'll take a little bit of practice to get the steps down. So I have a few more examples, of course. Okay, so solid systems using matrix, write the solution as an ordered pair. So on each one of these, I want you to write it as a matrix, then use your calculator to find your x and y values. So go ahead and do that. I'm going to write it down, but you don't have to follow along with me if you know what to do. Just make sure you are able to do it. So if you have to, look at the front of your page so you can look back at the steps. Oh, gosh. Hey, were you able to get this solution? If you just do the REF, it won't work. So make sure you pick the right selection, which was B, RREF.
Wait, what was it? BERRF?
RREF.
Oh.
Which is the selection of B.
Oh.
So whenever you go over here, if you just use AREF, it won't work. You have to go to B, which is RREF. So this means that the X value is 3, the Y value is 4. You can check this. Doing 4 times the X value, 3, plus 3 times the Y value equals 24. True. And then 5 times the X value minus 8 times the Y value equals -17. So it works. This is just a way of checking it. So I'm just plugging in the X value and the Y value. Okay, go to the next one.
Would you ever get like a decimal?
Yes, you can get a decimal as your answer. On which part? On this part? Or on this part? On the RREF? Yeah, you can get a decimal. Hmm? So as long as it comes out to a 1, 0 some number, 0, 1 some number, then these are your X and Y values. So to check it, 3 times 5 minus 2 times the Y value equals 13. And then 5 plus 2 times the y value equals 7. So that's right. So you always want to do the RREF first. Oh, look at me. I picked the wrong one. There we go. I need to practice putting it in. Yay. One 0 13 0 1 30 13 30. So x is 13, y is 30. So you can plug them into your equations. Okay, let's look at the other side. Y equals 1/2 x, and then 2x plus y equals 10. So on this one, we don't have this one in standard form. So we need to change this one. We need it to be an x, y equals a number. So how could I move things around so it's x, y equals a number? Huh? Yeah, so this one's positive, so I'll actually subtract. So that means it's half x, negative half x, plus y equals nothing. There's nothing there, so it'd have to be equal to 0. So then our system of equations is this 2x plus y equals 10, and then negative half x plus y equals 0. So once you rewrite it, put it underneath the other equation, and then do your matrix. You could put a fraction in there. I just put -1/2 or divided by 2. And then 0. There we go. So that means x is 4, y is 2. And just to check, it says y equals half of x. 2 is half of 4. Is that true? Yeah. 2 times x, so 2 times 2 plus 4 equals 10. Oh, no. 2 times 4, there we go. Sorry. 2 times 4 is 8, plus the x value equals 10. So, yeah, 8 plus 2 equals 10. All right, next one. We don't have an x value. So what would be the x value since it's just y equals -6? Yeah, so it's 0x plus y equals -6. So as a matrix, that'd be 0, 1, -6, and 4, 1, 2. So our x value is 2, our y value is -6. Okay, the next one, this one's already written in the right form, but this one is not. So we need to move the x to the other side. So subtract 3x. We get -3x plus y equals 2. So we have these two equations. I'm just rewriting them. Oh. Okay, so it comes out like that, and then you could change it to a fraction. So that's what I did. Once I push enter, then I hit math frac to put it in fraction form. And this gives us 1, -1/3, -2/3, 0, 0, 0. Is that even the right form? It should be, remember, 1, 0 number, 0, 1 number. No, it's not even the right form. So anytime you get all zeros on the bottom, this is whenever these are the exact same equations. So that if they're the exact same equations, our solution is infinitely many solutions. All zeros on second row or last row. Okay, get out your journal because I want to do one more example because you need to know what it looks like whenever it's a no solution. So this is going to go in my journal on the left side. So on the right side, I'm going to write, what if we have parallel lines? Because no solution is whenever you have parallel lines. So we want to know what the solution will look like in our matrix. So go ahead and write that down. I'm going to give you a problem. Okay, so we need to solve each one of these to get them in standard form, not solve them, but put the x on the other side. And we get negative 3x plus y equals 2. And then the other one, so these are the same slope but different y-intercepts. They're going to be parallel. So minus 3x on both sides. And we get negative 3x plus y equals negative 2. So our equations in standard form are this one. Negative 3x plus y equals 2. And then this one, negative 3x plus y equals negative 2. Same equation, just your C is different. So let's write it as a matrix. Negative 3, 1, 2. And then negative 3, 1, negative 2. And let's see what it looks like when we put it in the calculator in the matrix. Make sure you're actually doing it. It does no good to not do it. You're not helping yourself at all. Okay, so whenever it comes out, I'm going to hit math frac again. Just so I can get it as fractions so I can see it a little easier. So it'd be 1, 1/3, 0, and then 0, 0, 1. So that's basically 1x plus 1/3 y equals 0. And then 0x plus 0y equals 1. How is that even possible? So this is a no solution when row 2 is 0, 0, 1. All right, let's go to our journal, our digital interactive notebook. And we are going to find the solution to each one of these 4 problems. Since we know how to solve them, and then we're going to write our solution in words. So let's do it in our journal so that you don't have to worry about typing anything in. Let's just do, this is slide 16. Solve systems with word problems. I'll show you mine in just a sec. All right, so let's write down the system. So it's N plus D equals 41, and 0.05 N plus 0.10 D equals 315. So once we have the system, we can write our matrix. and then use our calculator to solve it. So N would be on the first column. So it'd be 1, D, 1, and then C value is 41. And then we have 0.05, 0.10, and 3/15. So put that in your calculator. Thank you. Okay, so whenever we do that, we get 1, 0, 19, and 0, 1, 22. But we're not writing it as x equals this, y equals that. Is this what y'all got? Y'all double check me.
Yes.
Adrian? Brady? Okay. Just make sure. Okay, so this means that N, D, and some number. So N equals 19, and D equals 22. But because this is a word problem, we have to write our solution or our answer in words. So let's look back at the question. It says, write a system of equations that could be used to find how many of each type of coin Valerie has. We need to write our solution in words. So we would say Valerie has 19 nickels and 22 dimes. Okay, so I want you to do 2, 3, and 4. So I'm going to pause it. Okay, so number 2, we have this system of equations. So you would have written that down, transferred it over to a matrix, and then solved it. So go ahead and do that if you haven't already. So I'm going to show you what that should look like. Okay, so whenever you do it, you get that S is 270, P is 210. So what you have to do is you have to look back at the word problem to determine how to write it in a sentence. So it says, write a system that could be used to find out how many rolls of each type of gift wrap were sold. So there were 270 solid color sold and 210 printed gift wrap. I forgot to put rolls in there. Rolls of printed gift wrap sold. Okay, so your assignment is to finish 3 and 4, and then the 2 problems from yesterday. If you will not be here tomorrow, there is a worksheet that you need to get before you leave today.